Welcome to today's episode. My name is, of course, you know who I am. This is my friend that you've met before, Motilola, and today we'll be talking about a conversation that we once had. Yeah, I remember we spoke one time, and then you told me about the 3 stages of friendship. So can you now tell me what are the differences? What is the outer court? What is the inner court? What is the holy service?
Okay, basically, just like the words explain outer, inner, and then holy of holies.
Right.
Meaning that, like you said, there are stages to life, and not everyone fits into those into a certain place that you put them.
Sure.
How do I mean? I might be as close to her as I would to my sister, and then someone else is just someone I just there for a certain reason. But,
sure.
You understand. Thank you. So, just like there are acquaintances, there are casual friends, and there are close friends, and there are best friends, and all of those things. Is what I mean. So, you can say that someone in the outer circle is just like, I don't mean just then, more like an acquaintance or a casual friend, and then in inner circle, you've gone to a place where you actually call your friend, call yourself friends.
Okay.
They mean something to you, even if not the whole word, they mean something to you, and you can relate with them on certain level. Now, holies of bodies mean that there's no difference now. You're like family, or like really close pals or best friends, maybe. They tell everything to each other.
So most times, what would you say that? How would you say someone graduates from being in the outer court to the inner court and to the holy service?
Okay, so for one, friendship is like any other relationship that you invest in. It takes time, it takes commitment, it takes communication, it takes intention. It takes 2 people wanting to be close, actually.
Okay.
Not one party, wanting to be very close to the other person. The other person just stays there. It takes 2 to tango.
Sure.
Now, oftentimes people make the mistake of wanting to rush friendship. Now, I believe for one that any form of relationship that is not tested by time would probably not work.
Okay.
Yeah. Your Ori, it's more like meeting for the first time and then you say, "Oh, be my best friend." It doesn't work that way.
Commitment, understanding. So how people graduate from? You also mentioned values.
Yeah.
Values
and of course, consistent communication. Consistent communication. Yeah. Now, if I don't know anything going in your life currently, or like for at least a long time, I won't be fooled to believe that because you call me best friend, I'm actually your best friend.
Because at least I don't know anything.
I don't know anything going on in your life, and neither do you know what's going on in mine. So it goes 2 ways. You should be willing to share as much as they are willing to share.
Yeah.
So that's friendship.
Okay. I like what you just said now, because I remember I've had conversations with people and people just be like, I don't want to talk about it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of things going on in your life and you claim that I'm your friend, or you claim at least I'm not in the outer court. I know I'm not in the outer court. Yeah. And then you do not want to talk to me about the things going on in your life. Do I now, as a person, as an individual, is it safe for me to now think, okay, maybe we are not in the inner court?
Okay. For one, we need to understand that before friendship, there are 2 individuals involved or more.
Okay.
You are first a person by yourself before someone's friend. So if people, except if they do it constantly, you just know that maybe you don't actually mean something to this person. But if you understand your person, I mean your friend, your person who is your friend, you understand them and the way they react to things, the way they take life, you will know that sometimes when they say they don't want to talk about it, they really don't at that time. So there's always a backup conversation that's okay, this is what was going on at the time. And oftentimes when statements like that come up, it's because they are going through a certain phase that is not easy on them. Not because anything joyful is happening. Of course, I want to share good news. Any normal human wants to share a good news. But in a low estate, they just probably want to have that time to themselves. Of course, going back to the statement I made, understanding that this is their kind of person. But if you know that this person is not like this, and they're always saying, "I'm not in the mood. I don't want to talk about it," you should know where you belong.
There's something I want to understand now. You mentioned communication, right? And I was watching a video on TikTok, right? And this guy was saying how communication is not, "Hey, what's up? I'm not..." Okay, let me use the example he used. He said, so let's say you went to a club with your girlfriend, okay? In your case, it's your boyfriend, and then one of your friends come in, and then both of you exchange pleasantries. "Oh, hello," and then he hugs you and all of that, and your boyfriend now says to you, "I don't like that guy." That is not communication.
Yeah.
But if the guy is able to open up and say, okay,
why you don't like that guy?
Exactly. So I feel like there's a part of communication people don't like, and that's the part that makes them vulnerable.
Yeah.
The part that makes them like open, like that part of themselves.
Okay, so I understand that people do not always like to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
That was what I said in the first place. That it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes trust. It takes commitment. Over time, when people have seen that you are reliable, they will be able to trust you easily.
Okay.
After a certain period of time. Now, for example, for the example that you made,
yeah,
I don't like that guy. That's a statement. It was not a conversation. It was not a communication. It was just
I agree.
Thank you.
Because I feel like communication should be about, like, give me something I can work with.
Yeah.
Don't just say,
why don't you like the guy? What exactly? Is that something you're feeling insecure about?
Exactly. That the other guy was not like, okay, so he said communication now is when the guy is not able to say, okay, so I felt jealous when the guy came up to you, and I did not like how it made me feel insecure and all of that. So it puts you, although it puts you in a position of vulnerability, at the same time it makes the other person understand. Yeah. So you're not just, the person doesn't just feel like you're just giving an order, like, don't talk to that guy anymore. So yeah.
Actually, one of the actual ingredients of friendship is also vulnerability, and that is where trust comes. It's not just these things are into that's where trust comes into play. And of course, again, I mean and trust, vulnerability. I must be able to, I've been able to trust you and rely on you over a certain period of time before I can say, okay, now let me tell you what I'm really, really dealing with.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's the thin line between inner cord and police officer.
I don't know. I don't know, but sometimes I see how friendships are going these days, and then I'm like, okay, because this way so many people are ending up feeling so alone, because at the end of the day, by the time I'm trying to call my friend, I'm busy, I'm unable to, you're unreachable. Whenever you want to talk, I'm supposed to clear everything on my table to attend to you. And recently I've had friends speak. I've spoken with a couple of friends who are willing to go all out for their fellow friends, but when they need their friend to turn up for them, when they need their friends to shop for them, their friends are nowhere to be found. I remember the day I was telling you that I feel like the same way we go all out when we want to find a life partner is the same way we should go all out when we find a friend. If you had to explain what commitment is in friendship now, like, what would you say commitment is in friendship?
Commitment, I always like to refer back to what I said. Yeah. I said earlier that friendship is by choice.
Sure.
And commitment is I choose you this day, and you choose me this day. And aside the choice, is working on that choice that you made to ensure that the end goal is actually achieved.
Okay.
And it takes commitment is an everyday thing. It's not,
I feel it today, I don't feel like it.
Yeah, and it's not once for all. It's once and again. Yeah.
Once and again.
Once and again. Don't say it.
Okay. So once and
it's
again.
Once and again thing. Yeah. So commitment is every day I'm reminding you and proving it that I choose you and I can choose you. It's like a relationship, like marriage, marriage. I choose you this day because choose is friendship in one way or the other is married, because the same precept of marriage is the same precept of friendship. Can two work together except they agreement.
So if you were to say one thing about friendship so far, what would you say that? makes friendships hard or makes it so annoying? Because it is annoying to me. Or is it annoying to you? Let me ask this.
Yeah, sometimes it is.
So what would you
Because
say?
we're humans and we're
Yeah.
imperfect. And why it's like that is because we're two different people.
Yeah.
Or we're all different persons with different makeups, different
Sure.
love languages, different characters, different backgrounds, which is a major factor in people's individuality and identity. Yeah.
Sure.
So we're
Sure.
all different persons and we're all just trying to be happy together,
Yeah.
connect and network. Now you're moving from a place where you've been brought up by a certain system, belief system,
Sure.
attribute,
Yeah.
character, and then you're meeting someone else who you have to like how should I put this? Who you have to accept their flaws, who you have to nurture, who you have to embrace, who you have to even change it for sometimes. Yeah, you should understand. You should know that there's going to be glitch. So
Yeah.
that can be annoying. Why? Because we're all humans and we're aiming towards perfection. And also the aspect where you begin to understand that okay, it's glaring. This person don't choose me. That's quite hard. But life is life, and
Life
life is just life. It's okay. Don't force friendship. Because
no force friendship.
you
Can two work together unless they agree? No,
Mhm.
right? But now there are now times when you are agreeing with someone and then it seems like you trying to help this person is weighing you down, right? And then there's the quote that says, if you want to go far, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with people. So at what point do we now do we shift our mind from being dragged?
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, all right. Bible says that do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Now, I do not take that word alone for just marriage. I take it for friends whenever that place I find myself.
Yeah.
Not like I don't have unbelievers as people that I care about and acquaintances, but you know that holy of holies.
You cannot know them. Thank God I'm a believer.
Because because truth is now we have different belief systems, we have different rules, we have different guidelines, we have different culture. Thank you. Different ways of life.
Yeah.
Yes. So if no way or the other, when you're a very close friend to me, one way or the other, you're going to try to influence me unintentionally, actually, unconsciously. It's going to happen that way.
Yeah. Okay, before we go, one last thing.
Okay.
How would you define friendship?
Friendship is a choice. Friendship is a commitment. Friendship is a bond. It's family in another family or related by blood. Family unrelated.
Why is gone?
Family unrelated by
blood.
but by value systems, by belief system, by culture, by character, by goals, by where you want to see yourself in the next how many years, by what you're doing right now. That's friendship for me.
Thank you so much, Grace, for gracing us with your wisdom and your presence.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's all for today, guys. Have a wonderful time. Bye.